We spend our entire lives building a facade that is completely flawless, believing that only the most perfect versions of ourselves are truly worthy of being loved. Like Elian, a master of his craft, we labor in the shadows of our own expectations, convinced that any minor blemish is a sign of ultimate failure. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the weight of silence, a sanctuary where perfection is the only God he chooses to worship. But perfection is a cruel mistress. One tiny scratch, invisible to the common eye, is enough to shatter the peace he worked so hard to maintain today. He sees not a masterpiece, but a tragedy. In his mind, this small flaw has corrupted the entire essence of the work he spent months creating carefully. In a moment of despair, he decides that a flawed existence is no existence at all. He prepares to sacrifice his creation to the altar of perfection. The sound of breaking clay echoes through the silent room, a sharp cry that signals the end of another failed attempt to reach the unreachable stars above. Each piece represents a fragment of his soul, cast aside because it wasn't good enough. The floor is a graveyard of dreams that never quite survived. He stands alone in the wreckage, a prisoner of his own high standards. The price of this relentless pursuit of the ideal is a profound, aching loneliness. We must realize that the image of perfection we chase is nothing more than a beautiful but cruel illusion that keeps us from seeing our true value. This curse is not limited to the artist's studio. It follows us into our modern lives, into our offices, and deep into our very sense of self. Meet Mara. To the world, she is the image of success, but inside, she is drowning in the same sea of perfectionism that plagues the old potter. She spends hours obsessing over a single word in a report, fearing that one mistake will expose her as a fraud to her peers and superiors. She is striving to be the perfect employee, the perfect daughter, and the perfect friend, while slowly losing the very essence of who she actually is. Whether with clay or with spreadsheets, the struggle is the same. When we push too hard against the grain of reality, everything eventually begins to collapse. The harder he tries to control the form, the more it resists. Life, like clay, has its own will, and it cannot be forced into perfection. Time is the currency we spend on our obsessions. Mara gives up her sleep, her health, and her peace just to satisfy an invisible judge's demands. Every second spent chasing the impossible is a second stolen from the joy of living. We are burning our light to fuel a fire that never warms. The office becomes a prison of her own making. The walls are built of expectations, and the bars are made of the standards she refuses to lower. We ignore our basic needs, our hunger, and our exhaustion. We become machines in pursuit of a dream that offers no real comfort or lasting satisfaction. She remembers a time when mistakes were just parts of the game. Now, every error feels like a death blow to her carefully constructed, fragile identity. The craftsman is tired. His hands ache, and his heart is heavy with the weight of 1,000 rejected masterpieces that were never quite good enough. When we refuse to accept our cracks, we also refuse to accept our humanity. We become hollow shells, mimicking a life that we no longer truly feel. The world demands more, and we give it everything until there is nothing left. The engine of perfectionism is running on empty, heading toward a crash. She is vanishing. The person she was is being overwritten by the person she thinks she should be, a ghost haunting the halls of her ambition. No matter how much we polish the surface, the internal pressure will eventually find a way out. The break is inevitable, and it is coming soon. The breaking point arrives. It is not a failure of character, but a natural reaction to a burden that was never meant for a human to carry. The silence of her home is deafening. She has achieved the lifestyle she wanted, but she is too exhausted to enjoy any of the fruits of labor. The wall she built to protect herself has become a cage. She is finally admitting to herself that she cannot keep this act up any longer. He is surrounded by the ghosts of his perfection. In this moment of total defeat, he feels as broken as the clay scattered around his feet. This is the collapse. Not because you are weak, but because you have been trying to stay strong for far too long without any rest or grace. Inside every person who strives for perfection, there is a heart made of glass and gold, waiting for the moment it can finally breathe and break. He realizes that he has spent his life hating the very material he loves, simply because it wouldn't obey his impossible commands for total, static order. The weight of the world's expectations and her own self-judgment has finally crushed the spirit that once burned so brightly and so full of hope. When you have nothing left to give, when the standards of others become a heavy shroud, you feel the darkness closing in from every single side. Sometimes things fall apart just so that something new can be built. But in the moment of the crash, it only feels like the end. The master has become the student of failure. He sits in the wreckage of his pride, waiting for a sign that life can continue after this. She is empty. Every ounce of energy has been spent on maintaining a lie. Now, there is only the raw, honest truth of her own exhaustion. Nature does not strive for perfection. The tree is twisted, the stone is weathered, yet they are whole in a way we have long forgotten. You feel as though you have been shattered into 1,000 pieces that can never be put back together. You are lost in the dark void. But it is often in our darkest, most broken moments that the first glimmer of a new and different kind of light begins to emerge. Morning comes, not with a roar, but with a gentle invitation. Elian opens his eyes and sees the shards in a way he never has before. He doesn't throw them away. For the first time in his life, he sees the potential in the brokenness, the beauty hidden within the actual disaster. He remembers an ancient technique, a philosophy called Kintsugi. It is the art of precious scars, the way of mending with the strength of gold. The gold is not meant to hide the break, it is meant to highlight it. It transforms the tragedy into a triumph of endurance and artistic beauty. Every stroke is an act of love. He is no longer fighting the clay. He is collaborating with its history, honoring the moment it fell apart. In Kintsugi, we don't disguise the damage. We treat the breakage and repair as part of the history of an object, not something to hide. The workshop is no longer a place of judgment. It has become a laboratory of healing, where mistakes are given a new, more precious life. The cracks become the most beautiful part of the vessel. They tell a story of survival, of a journey that a perfect object could never understand. He understands now. The vase is more valuable because it was broken. Its worth comes from its resilience, not from its original, boring perfection. Mara begins to see her own life through this lens. Her mistakes are not stains. They are the lines of her own unique and difficult story. She is starting to mend her own soul. Instead of gold lacquer, she uses self-compassion and the courage to be honest about her own deep struggles. The process is slow. Healing cannot be rushed. Each fragment must be placed with care, and each layer of gold must be allowed to set firmly. These hands have destroyed so much in search of perfection. Now, they are learning the much harder and more rewarding task of making things whole. He is no longer alone. He has joined the community of the broken, a vast and beautiful world where everyone carries their own unique golden scars. She accepts the person in the mirror. The cracks in her facade are where the light finally gets in, allowing her to see herself for real. She is letting the world back in. She no longer needs to be a perfect, untouchable statue. She is ready to be a living, breathing woman. Those scars are not defects. They are the evidence of your growth. They are the proof that you were hit by life and you survived it. The artisan has found his true masterpiece. It isn't the vase that didn't break, it's the one that did and was made stronger for it. She is moving forward, not toward perfection, but toward wholeness. She is carrying her history with pride, wrapped in the gold of her own resilience. Welcome to the Symphony of Scars. This is the stage of life where we stop hiding our pain and start using it to create something new. Her relationships are deeper now. By showing her own cracks, she allows others to show theirs, creating a bond that perfection could never, ever build. Do not fear the breaking. Fear the life that is so smooth and so flat that it has no story to tell the world around it. The perfect objects are silent. The broken ones sing. They speak of the fire, the fall, and the long, slow journey back to the light. She has set her boundaries. She performs her work with excellence, but she no longer lets it define her entire value as a human being. Today, happiness is not the absence of scars. It is the courage to heal them with love and the wisdom to see the beauty in the repair. She has stopped chasing the ghost of enough. She realizes that she was always enough, even when she was in 1,000 broken pieces. We were born knowing this. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that falling is just another way to learn how to stand up even stronger. When you stop hiding your wounds, you stop being a victim of your past. You become the artist of your own, unique, and beautiful future. Every home has its own story of breakage and repair. We are all Kintsugi masterpieces in progress, walking each other home through the long night. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more honest people who are brave enough to show their scars and share their healing journey. Your cracks are not where you failed. They are the places where the light enters your soul, illuminating the path for others to follow you. So let the glass break, let the clay shatter. Do not fear the end of the old you, for the new you will be golden. Embrace your history. Tincture your pain with the gold of self-love. You are a work of art that is still being created every single day. Who are you when the mask falls away? You are the light within the cracks. Now go forth and let your beautiful golden wounds shine.